I fully knew that. I'm aware of that. I just wanted to see, right, and prove the concept that, okay, you really do need organic TikToks. Like, you need to film on your phone. You need to use a TikTok editor. You need to use the robot voice, voiceovers, the native text, everything. Everything that that editor has to offer, use it.
Folks, we're back. Cody's on the brink of death, but he's here, committed. His Aura Ring said he could do it. We even pushed the podcast for him. He even bounced. We even had a replacement for him, and Cody big leagued him. He texted me, said he wants to be on the show today. And so mad love to our replacement, who we will have on later this summer. But he got bumped, so the three amigos are back. I'm here in Austin with my boys Ash and Cody. Fellas, how goes it?
Feel good. Cody, how about you?
Good, man. I'm doing well. My voice might not be all there. My energy might not be there. I'm on day, I don't know if this is 4 or 5 of COVID, and honestly, it kicked my ass, but I'm just happy to be here.
Well, we're happy to have
Glad
you back.
you're feeling better.
Thanks.
You look sensational in the Jones Road swag. Do you guys have T-shirts? We need T-shirts. We're doing a T-shirt wall at the office here. You guys send me a cool bright T-shirt. Those are sick.
They're not as cool as our hoodies, but I'll send you a tee. Or do hoodies count for there?
Well, yeah, hoodies count, but we only put T-shirts on the wall. Hoodies are too hard to mount. Like, we have like T-shirt frames that we're putting on there, and it's actually really cool. We're doing NFC chips, and so the NFC chip will be in the T-shirt, so you can put your phone up to the T-shirt, and it'll pop up the store's website.
Ooh,
big brain moves here in Austin. When you guys come out for the Whaleys, I'll show you around the office and stuff, or maybe we'll bring you out earlier for Austin, but that's not here nor there. What we do have to talk to you about is 2 TikTok experts. Ash is finally getting some spend going, and Cody has some really interesting gurus. Let's go, baby. And that's why we're not product people. We're marketers, so we're not the best of the best, but at least we're here. Zing,
we failed
zing,
that product.
We failed. Did you see the fortune cookie? Oh, it's so
cool. I feel like we should explain some of these. I feel like
a little bit. Don't get, because me and you are gonna get grumpy, and we can't start the podcast grumpy, but set the stage.
Well, so the first thing that happened this week is Ash and I got called gurus for the first time. There was some dude, I don't even know who he is. He, to me, and I'm not trying to hate at all, but he looks like a wannabe guru, and was like, I don't know who all of the, because they do post screenshots.
Shots fired.
The dude posts screenshots, and he's like, come follow me. Like, if you want to learn how to do like 8 figures, and I'll show you how to do it too. And like, me and Ash never say that. Like, I have never once promised to help that I can help anybody do 8 figures, even 7 figures. Ash and I just share what works for us, and it's just, here's what works for us, here's what I'm learning, right? And like, yes, it's nice to maybe sell some courses if we want to do that in the future, or do some consulting, but really we're just trying to share, and help what's working for us. So Ash, I don't know about you, I feel like you took offense to that probably a little bit more than I did.
I did, because it was like the guy that he was comparing us to, right? I mean, I don't even know if I want to even bring it up, but like, he was comparing us to some pretty big gurus that have like done their thing, and they've kind of left, right? Like,
hold on, Ezra's not a guru though. Like, I don't know. Like, to me, a guru is a negative thing, right? Like, is that to you guys?
No, I
depends.
Agree, I mean, well, here's the thing, right? So if we're talking about Ezra, right? He had his like free courses, he had his paid courses, like he has done a lot for the industry, right?
It's like a Russell Brunson, right? He's massive.
But this guy had an issue with like us being the now people. Like, I don't want to say like we're the now people, but like we're very active on Twitter, right? Ezra's definitely not, and like he's not putting out value as much as we are right now. And this guy took offense to that. And it's like, well, you guys should respect the OGs. And it's like, okay, well, it's not on you to do that. It's on them to push their own stuff. And that's what bothered me, because he just wasn't getting that. And I was just like, all right, well, you don't have to follow us. You don't have to listen to us. You can go pay for your course if you want to. All our shit's free.
Yeah. I have more respect than like for Ezra than like anyone, because I've learned so much from him.
No,
he also has like the pretty much the best reputation like as a human being that you can have in this industry, and like so many big players look up to him, and he's amazing. I was literally even just messaging him today, but like he sold a good amount of
You see
of
that
his
name
company.
drop?
Like I'm just saying,
This
like he's a
guy.
good dude.
This guy.
He has sold a good amount of his company. Like he's out. Like he could care less about me and Ash and that like people are
He
talking
probably
about us.
didn't even know that conversation was even happening.
No,
This dude
not
made his bag.
and not at
100%,
all.
man.
And like, and also it's like I can also respect Ezra and like have learned a ton from him, but I don't have to say in every post like, oh, this is inspired by Ezra. Like this is inspired by him. Like I think that's what the dude wanted, you know?
Ah,
I don't know. It was a bit of the haters are gonna hate, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I think gurus were at one point a admirable kind of like term, but now I think it's a bit of a pejorative where people
everyone's
are
a
seen as like,
self-claimed guru now. Like, there's so
yeah,
many ads that are like, let's get 5x ROAS. Like, no,
100%. And I think too, man, dude, most of us here are capitalists. Like, if you have information and you want to sell information and that information gets people further down their path faster than it wouldn't, there's no shame in that. So, I mean, it's on you to do your due diligence to not get hoodwinked. And quite frankly, there's so much out there now where it's like, there are fantastic, like Foxwell's Slack group is fantastic, actually. And Facebook groups that I pay for are trash. Me and Ash were just talking about this offline. We're like, Facebook groups are dead, dude. Like, I mean, it's really paid Slack groups. And then honestly, there's just so many people building in public. And quite frankly, like, if people are real, like, you just message them. And like, almost all these people will hit you back. Like, people aren't, and if they don't, then you start to get into the kind of weird status of like, oh, okay, there's a little bit of huckstery stuff going on. But again, like, it's on you, man. Like, it's your money and you can vote with your wallet. But I don't know. I kind of took offense for you guys. And why am I a guru? What happened there? I didn't even get the guru status. I did get the Nick Sharma follow. I did get the Nick Sharma follow.
We were mad we were gurus. He was mad he's not one.
You see? It's the green grass is always greener on the other side.
But it was cool to see a lot of people showing support, though. So shout out to everyone that definitely stood up for us. And
yeah, I don't get the anti-course backlash because like yes, there's a lot of gurus that are selling courses and like they've never ran a brand. They're scamming people. Their shit sucks. But like I have learned so much from courses. I've spent 5 figures, like good 5 figures on courses. And there's no way I would be where I am without that. So like,
you need the fundamentals. You need the fundamentals to get started, and then you learn by doing. And that's just how everything goes, right? There's only so much you can get done by like going through a textbook, right?
I love that. And honestly, quite frankly, like a lot of times when I was on my come up, the course purchase wasn't necessarily for the content, it was for the access to the person. And so like now you're in the group and you can talk to them and like there's just an easier way where because I had questions that I couldn't get answered that were more nuanced that now I'm in the group and it's kind of like the equivalent of going to university. Like unless you're going to get some like either one, you're an Ivy League, or two, it's some actual science degree where there's like a literal, like I went to school for economics, which is considered an arts. But if you're going to school for a lawyer, doctor, something like that, that's very tangible. Outside of that, dude, a lot of the value in university is the networking that you're going to build there, is the people that you get access to, is the, like you can get fast track to jobs and all these things. It's not the actual academia. And so I'm with you, Cody. I don't know why people shit on it. So, I mean, I get it where like you don't want to get hoodwinked, yada, yada, yada. One, put it on a credit card, get that charge back if it's trash. And two, just do your own diligence. And like, it's really easy to identify if something's kind of scammy or not. Just toss it out there. There's so much flux and free flow of information now that I don't know. I think people are real about it. So
I mean, there's that concept of like providing value first and upfront, and then asking for like someone's credit card later, right? So like when you see these random ads on like your feed of people you have never heard of, it just seems scammy, right? But if one day, Cody wants to put out a course or I want to put out a course, it's like we've given back to the community. I mean, in my opinion, I think we've given a lot back to the community. For us to like now have something a little bit more premium, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
And we're also doing it. That's the other thing. Like we're actually we're not just teaching it, we're actually achieving success doing the thing as well.
Yeah. Well, and I think people also forget, like, dude, I think there's two kind of stages in your life. There's I have more time than money stage, and then I have more money than time stage. And when you reach that second stage, curation is really time consuming. So if I can just pay somebody for all the awesomeness that Ash or Cody has been talking about, and it's in this easy to consume course that I can then do within a weekend versus having to find his tweets, having to find the YouTube video, having to do, dude, it's there's value in that curation. And so exactly. And so if you have more money than time, I'm happy to give somebody money so that then I can actually make more money from the things that I internalize versus having to hawk down every YouTube video. Now, that's not to be said when there's a certain point in time where I had more time than money, and I was absolutely doing that, where I was searching every single YouTube channel. I was finding weird videos on Vimeo. You're just all the way deep into weird Google searches, using super weird operators to find these really weird niche things. But if you have the money for it, you have less time, it's going to help you get down that path. So I don't know. I'm just a big value for value guy. I think that and value manifests in different ways, and curation and saving your time is one way that value can manifest, where it's like, well, the information's already out there. Yeah, it is, but it's not a YouTube playlist or something. I have to go find all these things to pull together. And that took me 6 hours when I could have just bought the course, done that, and then in 6 hours, I'm skilled up. So anyways, I'm kind of ranting here, but I got you guys' backs.
Fair, absolutely.
All right, what are we talking about? You guys want to talk about TikTok today?
Oh yeah, you want to get into it? I think both angles, the paid and the organic.
Yeah, I think that works. Ash, you posted something. I'll let you kick it off. Like, you posted something. You're kind of seeing some success. Can you just talk us through that?
Yeah. Well, first off, I have to give you a little bit of a shout out because you were the one that gave us the opportunity to actually get to run ads on TikTok.
I didn't do shit.
So I mean, Cody basically hooked us up with an account manager. If you are having problems, getting ads set
don't
up,
email me, don't DM me,
don't email Cody, don't
buy the course.
But the way to do it is to get a managed account. Reach out to TikTok, see if you can get somebody to help with that. But if you are facing a lot of rejections, that is the way to do it.
And that'll be because you were in health and like supplements is kind of like
health and supplements,
right?
Yeah. Like we had, claims like weight loss and things like that. So when we were running ads maybe like 4 or 5 months ago, we would run for like 24 hours and they get shut down. But like within those 24 hours, they would do really well, and it was like very frustrating because Facebook sucked and like we couldn't get this to scale longer than 24 hours. So thank you, Cody. Again, get a managed account. That's the best way to get around all of these issues. Because they literally tell you what to remove from your landing page, from your ad to get it approved.
Do you have to get that approved by a person? Like when you launch a creative, you have to send it to them first?
Yeah, so we send it to them. We can launch without doing that, but if we don't want to run into issues, we get it pre-approved. Then we're good to go. Like for example, 2 days ago, we launched a bunch of new creatives, and our landing page that was already pre-approved got rejected. I guess it got flagged automatically. Sent an email to the rep. Within 24 hours, it was back on and we're running. So you'll have those issues if you're in these niches, health, wellness, supplements. But having that managed account is super important. So see if you can try and get one. But
so what's working for you? Like, what have you tested? What's working for you?
Absolutely.
What's not working?
So what's not working was, this is crazy. I tweeted about this about a month ago, right? And I think you gave me the suggestion, see if I can kind of build our account in public, right? So we took some of our assets that we were running on Facebook, right? These are a little bit more polished, like, edited videos that I, inherently thought that they probably wouldn't work. But I wanted to test them anyways, right? Because that was the only thing that we had to run. And they really sucked. Like, it was like, we spent like maybe 500, like 750. I'm talking like 0.2% click-through rate, $7 CPCs. Like, it was just it was a hot mess. And I was just like, here, Twitter, check out the videos that we're using. And I got shit on. Like, it was like, you guys need to be, creating organic TikToks, this and that. And I knew that. I fully knew that. I'm aware of that. I just wanted to see, right, and prove the concept that, okay, you really do need organic TikToks. Like, you need to film on your phone. You need to use a TikTok editor. You need to use the robot voice, voiceovers, the native text, everything. Everything that editor has to offer, use it, okay? So round 2, okay, we were getting $1 to $1.50 CPCs, right? We basically filmed a day in the life of, one of the girls filmed a day in the life. Like, here's my morning routine. I wake up, wash my face, take my smoothie with the collagen protein. It's good for this, this, and this. Carry on with their day, right? That video had I think 1.5% click through rate, $1 CPC. So so much better, right? So much better.
2016 traffic.
Yeah,
Let's
it
go.
was insane. And what I saw was on day one, really good traffic, right? But really low conversion rate. So I said, okay, let me run one more day. I think our CPA for that day was like $110 out of a $500 budget, right? So we got like five conversions, right? Let's just call it. Let's call it $100 CPA for day one.
Yeah.
Day two, we saw $50 CPAs, and we're like, okay, this is within our KPIs. This is great. We now have 10 conversions on this budget. The ad is starting to pick up. What I noticed is that the engagement on the ad was picking up. We saw shares increase, which was a good sign because obviously people are like probably sharing it with their friends, like, hey, we got to check this out, or commenting questions about the product, which we were answering right away. And, likes were coming in, and we were getting followers on the account, which was sick, right? So not only are you getting purchases, you're getting shares, which is the organic side of it, and you're growing your account, which also affects the organic side of it, right? Then day three, we had $20 CPAs. Disgusting. I have not seen those CPAs in the longest time.
Turn that up.
Right? So now I would say let it run for at least 3 days because you'll never know, right? Like by day three, it probably starts to pick up. And then I think I tweeted about this and everyone said, okay, well, day three, day four is where it really could either do really well after that or just crash and burn, right? So
yeah, what did you see?
Day four, we saw a little bit like of an increase, $30 CPA, then it went to 50, then 60, and now we're hovering around this 50, okay? And that was for the last 7 to 8 days. Day 9, day 10, I'm seeing it increase a lot because we only had that one ad, right? So there is that.
Oh, what are you spending a day behind that one ad?
It was 500.
Yeah. Oh, behind that one creative.
Yeah. So I knew a lot of people were saying like, okay, by day 7, you're probably gonna have to swap out creative. So I said, okay, well, this was our test to see if the organic TikToks will work. Now let's pump out creative. So all week, last week and this week, I think we must have pumped out at least 12 TikToks that we're gonna test this week at we're gonna bump the budget. Like I just started running them today. We're testing 4 of them today, $1,000 budget, and they're not performing that bad. We have an $80 CPA on day 1. Let's see how tomorrow goes. Let's see how day 3 goes, and just repeat the process, right? Similar to what I was talking about last podcast, which is have your testing campaign, right? Have the different angles. Like we have a whole notion of the different angles and hooks, right? Hooks on
Same
the
here.
app.
We have just a back
exactly.
Ideas,
100%. Like you have to get, and we're going broad only. Like I'm not even targeting interests or any audiences. I'm just going broad because we're using the ad to do the targeting, right? We have, shout out to some of these guys on TikTok. Not TikTok, on Twitter that we're putting out 100 hooks to test and this and that, and it's insane. So we literally took all the ones that applied to us, and it's like if you deal with X problem, right? If you deal with hair loss or wrinkles, you need to check this out, right? So now we're doing all these different angles, and what we're doing is we've created one TikTok that format that works, and all we're doing is changing the first 3 seconds to the different angles. So we'll have one video duplicated into 4 videos with 4 different angles, and we're just testing that out now. So it's like you only need to make one video, but the beginning of it, the first 3 seconds can all be different to different hooks and angles, and you can literally have an infinite amount of videos and many hooks and angles that you have to test. And I think that's going to be our go-to right now. So next podcast, I'll definitely update you on how this worked, but I think that might be the way to go about it.
So let's talk. I have a few questions about accounts because I feel like we'll talk about creative, and I can definitely share what we have worked, what has worked for us. What are you doing? So you're going broad. You going all one ad set, one campaign?
Yeah. So for the testing, I did broad, one ad set. I did females only 25 plus.
Okay.
4 TikToks. Right. So those 4 are currently all different styles, just so that we can understand which style works.
For sure.
Then as we get the idea of, okay, well, maybe a recipe might do better than a routine, then we'll go, and probably the next step is to take that video, chop out the first 3 seconds, and just replace it with a bunch of different stuff, like different hooks or different angles, and then run that to see which angles work, and then just scale the winners from there.
I mean, that's important. Any platform is like, I think sometimes people just test these micro changes, and it's like test concepts and angles on a very big picture, like completely different things. So the more different, the better, and then fine tune things once you kind of see what's working.
Exactly. Yeah. Cast a wide net, and then figure out figure out the style that works. It's like what we talked about last time. Is we tested like 5 different landing page types. Then you find your winner, right? Then create iterations, and if it is a recipe video, then we'll just make different recipes and change the first 3 seconds, and then you have like an infinite amount of video ideas that you can create. And I mean, the girls love making the TikTok, so it's like I'm not even complaining.
Sure.
They're not even complaining about having to film and this and that.
And then you're just throwing new ones into that one campaign, that one ad set you got, right?
Yeah. So I'm testing.
I did that for a while.
Yeah.
Like,
so you tell me. You tell me what the best structure is now, because right now I'm still in that testing phase, right? So now, if I'm testing at 1,000 a day, I got 4 ads. Now let's just say out of those 4, 2 are the winners, right? I think next week what I would do is probably test 4 more, and if I get 2 more winners, I have 4 winners that I would probably toss into a scale campaign. Or do you think I should just be bumping the budget on these campaigns that are working currently?
Yeah, good point. I mean, I think it kind of depends. It's like when you have, everybody wants, and again, it's really the same principles on Facebook, but like everybody wants to be like, oh, I have a test campaign, like that's the best practice. Yes, but it depends on budget. So if you only have $1,000 a day to spend on a platform, you really got to consolidate that. And TikTok, because of the attribution not being as good there, you actually need more consolidation than on Facebook. So I think for now you're totally good. The reasons why you would want to spend it out would be a few things. A, to guarantee you're getting spend, right, on some new creatives. Because sometimes if you got some winners, TikTok will just be, keeping the spend behind those, and you might not spend on the other ones. So that would be another one as your budget grows. Also, if you want to make sure you're not interrupting those evergreen campaigns, you got some stuff that's hidden and working, you just want to keep them running, that would be a point. So I would say probably at $1,000 a day, you don't have to. I think I probably added a second one in maybe like 1,500 or 2,000 a day.
So right now, if I have the testing campaign running at like with 4 ads, 2 of them are probably doing well, right? What would your next steps be to be like, okay, well, I have 4 more creatives, in the bank, but these are working. How do I go for like scale, or do I go for more testing? What would be your next step if my tests were working?
If we did like a stoplight system in terms of your performance, your CPAs against your target CPAs, are you at like a red light, yellow light, or green light?
Got it. So let's just say the testing is doing really well, right? You're probably at green light, right? Okay. So you have time to now go in on these before you need to, I guess, test more, or do you do both at the same time, right? So I don't know. At least always on Facebook, we're doing both at the same time.
Always be testing. Yeah. No, and I'm not saying don't test. I'm not saying like if you only have one budget, don't test. It just means that your test campaign and your scale campaign is the same. It just means I would bump the budget.
Well, let's just say there's infinite budget, right? Like things are going well, we can throw more money at it. What would you do?
You're at 1,000. I mean, if that's going well and you're green, I'd bump that 20% every few days. And I would, if that's going pretty well, and you had infinite budget, then I'd launch the test one at $1,000 a day. So now you're spending, $1,500 to $2,000 on the stuff that is working. But you got to make sure now that you're spending more, you're refreshing creative a lot quicker. So now you got 4 per week that you're bringing into this test one at $1,000 a day. And if something hits, you're just bringing it to that other one. If you launch 4, you should be bringing 1 of those tests of that 4 into the evergreen one.
Got it. So right now, my testing campaign, if it's doing well, that would become my scale campaign at one point, right?
Yeah.
If that's the one that's doing well right now.
Numbers.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. So to clarify, I have one campaign right now, which is my testing one. If it's doing well, I'm going to bump the budget 20% every couple of days. Let's say, let's just say we get it to 2,000 a day, right? Relatively quickly. I also need to have creative testing on the side. And you would say, if I find a winner from that testing, toss it into the other campaign. Would you turn off that new testing and replace it with entirely new tests? Or if it's working, what would you do?
So I would say, like, I'll just go back and say, let's say you're only like, hey, I can only get the bandwidth to turn out one new creative a week. I'd probably keep it in that evergreen one. But because I know that you're going to churn them out and you have a really good system for doing this normally, I would say, yeah, like launch 4 in the testing one. Let's say you launch 4, let's say 2 not very good, 1 okay, but needs some iterations, and 1's a winner. I would take that winner, right, of those, launch it into evergreen. So hopefully you can kind of just continue that one running at the same CPAs or better. Kill those other 2, but then take that one. You're like, oh, this recipe angle crushed it, to go off that recipe angle again. But let's get 3 new hooks on this one. Or let's try 1 with robot voice. Let's try 1 with a voiceover. Let's try 1 with some different hook, And then I would have that be your iteration to test the following week. But yeah, I think that would be your goal is, 3 to 4 a week. You're trying to find just 1 new creative a week or 2 creatives every other week, whatever it is, to just replenish that evergreen one.
Yeah.
Because that'll die. I mean, I think you'll get 2 weeks out of something on TikTok, like you're doing good. I'd say we got longer, but our stuff hit a wall. I mean, we had to really pull back our spend, and it's still really down.
Listen, take us through that, just so that like people understand how important it is to creative refresh and creative test. Take us through what you saw, because I know scaled pretty quickly, right? You guys went viral. I know that you were using like those as Spark ads and then other ads too. So take us through what you saw on that side.
Yeah, I can also verify that he scaled as well. I've seen his numbers, and he went up and to the right, baby. He wasn't. Yeah,
we got up to 8K a day. I was trying to get it to 10K a day.
You weren't playing.
Very, very, very profitably at the time. But what happened was, you've probably seen on Twitter, like, oh, TikTok creatives die out super quickly. Yep. And then I've also talked to some people who are like, no, we've seen some really long-lasting results. So we had some stuff in our account previously, but again, on like 2K a day of spend that was like lasting for months. So I was kind of getting a little too confident behind it. So we scaled. We're getting like 1 a week, and fortunately, because we were running these as organic and they had a lot of traction there, I wasn't really creating a ton of iterations, but I kind of knew they worked, and I would just throw them at our budget. But those definitely hit some fatigue really quickly. And our click-through rates just went down 20% every week, to the point where we were probably like running them at break even, and we just didn't have any new creative. So we just
Are you using any processes to monitor that, like the click-through rates, the CPCs, or are you just using like Triple Whale or the Ads Manager to kind of just keep an eye on it?
Triple and then Ads Manager, just as, obviously Triple looking at ROAS. So they just, I don't know what you have on your account, but they just came out with like auto advanced matching, which is enabling 7-day. I think it's a 7-day click, 1-day view.
Yeah.
Previously, like a few months ago, it was just on a 1-day click. So do you know if you have that in your account, or are you on 1 day?
I think it's still 1 day.
Okay.
I'll have to check.
All right, cool. Yeah, so I think that then it's even more important to use Triple Whale, because it's like you can scale an account at like a 0.3, 0.4, right? It's almost like whatever your GA numbers compared to your Facebook numbers are is kind of like what your Triple would be. So or your TikTok. So if you're at like a 0.4, like a 0.4 for us in TikTok platform was like a 1.8.
So you're saying TikTok is underreporting most of the time?
Yeah, because there's a few things. First of all, and again, like we can debate this until like the end on Facebook, but on TikTok, like there's no debate about this. Like TikTok is a top of funnel. The majority of it is going to be view through. If you look at your post-purchase surveys. So it's, first of all, just, I think I'm not the most technical guy in the world, but I from what I've heard from their team, the attribution is just not there. They're not nearly as sophisticated as Facebook is. So that's why they used to be single session, then they went to 1 day. Now they're 7-day. But there's going to be obviously a huge drop off from that. But also what happens is a lot of it is cross device. Oh, I see this, I only oh, I see this, but I don't really know it. I'm shopping and I go later, and then I go check out Obvi later on, and I go Google branded search. Like when we went viral on TikTok, we that one day we used to do about 2% of our revenue from TikTok. We did like 30% that day,
Wow.
and we kind of actually 60% that day, 30% that month. We used to spend about 1,500 to 2,000 on Google, right? Mostly brand search. That day we spent like 7,500. It's just upper funnel, just driving that bottom of funnel, you know? So that's how I think you have to look at TikTok. And just knowing.
Question about Google though.
Yeah.
Did you have to bump the budget because you were maxing it out?
No, because we weren't maxing it out before that. So that was kind of
Got
maxed
it.
out. But same thing on Facebook, right? If you're looking in your triple whale and you're looking at, you should have your correlations between your GA last click and your 1 day click, or your whatever it is, or your 7 day click, 1 day view, right? Whatever you look at. And you got to just find the same thing for TikTok. And I knew that a 0.4 for us in TikTok was really like a 1.8.
Yeah.
We were at like a 1. We were at like a 1 TikTok when we were like cruising and crushing it, and that was like a 2.8 for us in triple. So that's kind of. Have you found a similar correlation for you?
GA I've noticed is about half of what Facebook is saying most of the time.
Okay, but that's your Facebook on a 1 day, right?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Sorry. It used to. When we were doing 7 day, it was about half. Now 1 day,
Okay.
it's like it's pretty close. But what do you? At least for TikTok, I don't know yet because we haven't really looked at the data as much. But,
Yeah, I would just look and see because.
No, I was going to say from the accounts I sit across, Cody, that's basically all the biggest spending accounts. That's ultimately what we see is almost like a 2 to 3x multiple, where there'll be a 0.5 in channel and then a 1.5 or higher on triple, especially in TikTok. And Facebook, it varies a little bit more. To your point, there's a lot more. The less you spend on Facebook, the less variance there's going to be in triple, just because Facebook's attribution, even though it is not that great right now, it's still pretty darn good. TikTok's is absolutely atrocious. It's really bad. And so that's been, for a lot of people, the Pixel has helped in that way. Like, not to be weird, creepy product pitch, but there's some proper disparities on TikTok versus TDubs, whereas Facebook is a lot more in line, especially on the lower spending accounts, where in TikTok, when people started to spend even $500 to $1,000 a day, where it's like not tiny budgets, but not like you're not really churning and burning. It really can make or break you, because you're not going to scale a 0.5, but you're absolutely going to scale a 1.5 or a 2.
I think that's important. Yeah. So a 2 to a 3, again, like know if you're looking at a 1 day click or a 7 in TikTok, but definitely know what's in your platform is not what it actually is. I mean, same thing, like even Facebook is terrible. Like we're really going heavily on the triple attribution for us because we're finding some really good correlations. But I honestly had no idea if TikTok was working at first, because we were at like a 0.4, 0.5, and I'm like, I don't really know. And the other thing is because we were spending so little compared to our Facebook and our organic that it wasn't affecting our MER at all. So that's why having, again, I'm not trying to do product placement, but having the Pixel really helped us.
Look at this guy. Question for you too, because I'll be able to get in the TikTok game soon. We just got a strategist onboarded, and we're going to start throwing some cheddar there. It'll be a little different because we're B2B, we're SaaS, so but it'll be fun to kind of play in the playground with you guys, be in the club. But the question I have is, do you guys, and kind of pivoting to the second-ish topic as well, what the kids call a segue, by the way. Do you guys see a correlation between having to actually have like organic posts and building that account? Is that helpful, or can you just go hard in the paint on dark posts, or like having those organics and then running them as Spark ads? Can you give me some color there? Does that make sense what I'm asking?
Yeah. What do you think, Ash? I got mine.
So as soon as we started running ads, right, the account started to grow a lot more, right? I mean, for the last year, we've been posting on TikTok. Nothing really took off. And I think us trying to find what our organic strategy has to be has been very difficult, right? Like we're doing like stuff that's trending, or like we're not trying to be like product. We're just doing like, fun stuff that's trending, right? And like we've had like 1 or 2 videos that have done okay, but like they're not going to move the needle, right? So when we started running ads, the account grows very, very quickly, right? I think we're like about to hit 4,000 followers. We grew about 1,000 followers in the last like 10 days, right? So let's just say like you get 100 followers a day. Now it's like, okay, well, now there's a reason to post because people are like want to know more about the brand. So what I was thinking is our strategy should be how to use the products in a fun way, right? So like for us, we'll probably do recipe videos, right? So like here's a way to make chocolate donuts with 10 grams of protein, right? So like things like that where now we have to focus on creating that content versus ads. I think those can be a little bit more polished. Obviously in like the TikTok format, but having the videographer kind of film the girls, in the kitchen and this and that, and like making a bunch of stuff. That I think is where we can probably start seeing traction on the organic end because we have more followers, we'll probably get a little bit more engagement, and because we're getting a little bit more engagement, we'll probably have a better chance of going viral or at least getting more organic reach there. So I think it goes hand in hand. But like I know brands that will go organic first and then paid, right? But I think for us we had to go paid first and then organic.
But you were doing some. It's not like you weren't doing organic. It just wasn't clicking.
Yeah, no, I mean like our like when we were posting, I would say like maybe 3 to 4% of like the post purchase surveys said TikTok, which was interesting because we were only getting like 300, 400 views, and I was just like, I don't. How do we capitalize on it? Like, what do we do to like push that up, right? And we would just post more and more and more, but we would still get like 300, 400 views, and like there wasn't enough traction there. But I think now, like we see the videos that we're posting now get more views, and I think it's because the account's just growing, right? So I think there's two sides to it, right? I think at least for us is we went hard on the paid so that we can go hard on organic now.
Can I ask you a question? Did anything from organic make it into the scale campaign?
Well, no.
Okay, yeah. So everything was dark posts at scale?
Yeah. Most of them were dark posts. The only reason, dude, is because like we can't keep pitching the product on organic.
Yeah, it was just curiosity of mine where when I was running Facebook ads at my agency, that was basically how we found most of our winners was actually Petri dish on social, and then it would crush on social, and you'd get the engagement, and then you throw it in the scale campaign, and it is just churning and burning because you're getting and we'd actually run across both layers of prospect and retargeting. Even though the retargeting might not be quote unquote purchases, you would just get super fans on there throwing comments and stuff like that, and so it would just have this huge synergistic loop of success. And so I just didn't know if that's how kind of the TikTok.
No, I could see that working.
That's how I do it.
I could see that working for Cody a lot better than it would work for us.
So the reason I love TikTok so much, and I definitely want to talk about organic a little bit, it's a platform with the least amount of difference between paid and organic. The entire reason is the way the algorithm works. And
say that differently. I think I'm tracking, but I want to get a little more.
So
clarity.
on most platforms, right? If you're going to talk about like Facebook ads or let's say Instagram ads versus like an Instagram organic video, the best practices are very different, right? If you're going to look at a good ad, you wouldn't take a good ad and put it on your Instagram feed for most brands. There's some overlap, but I would say it's probably a 10% overlap. No one on organic social, on organic Instagram is talking about the hook. They're not talking about the engagement rate, right? However, on TikTok, they are. The reason why is entirely how the algorithm works, okay? I had a call with our rep who is like a head of partnerships at TikTok today. So, she, this was kind of like cemented a lot of the things I've been thinking.
Another drop.
Which is just saying where I'm getting my sources because I got called out for not tagging Ezra when I share stuff. So I got to share my sources.
Trust me, bro.
Guru. Yeah. So part of it is 85% of people on TikTok use the For You page. They don't use who you're following. So because of that, right, that is prospecting. You're now showing content to people who don't know, like, and trust you, who don't follow you. So it's the same exact principles, right? Also, you have the organic distribution that the ability to go viral. Essentially, the way that it works is when you're looking at like your organic reach on Instagram or Facebook, we'll say Instagram, part of what's weighted in there is your account's history, how often you post, what your average engagement is. That doesn't matter on TikTok. That doesn't matter. You could take a 3-month hiatus. They just look at the video. And that's why you see these accounts with no followers going viral, or these videos going viral, because they're really just looking at what's the engagement like on this video, comments, views, likes. The most important one is average watch time and a percentage of people that watch the video to completion and watch it multiple times. And anybody can do that. It's super diplomatic, right? So with that being said, what are the principles that makes a good TikTok? You have to have a really good hook, okay? What's that sound like? That sounds like an ad to me. Like when we're talking like Facebook ad best practices, you have to have a good hook. You have to optimize for watch time. You have to make it engaging, right? There's some similarities there. There's probably not the highest correlation between ROAS and average watch time on a Facebook ad, but I still think it's important. I do think that there's some importance to that. Even getting comments and likes and shares is important for Facebook ads, right? That usually helps you with your auction, right? Yep. Same thing on TikTok. That's extremely important, So all of those principles are the same. And here's the other thing, right? The rep showed us this thing is she posted a few things on her personal page, and we looked at the comments, and the people that were commenting on them were so different. One was about, we'll call it fashion. One was about, something completely different. And the types of people commented that if you look at their comments and look at the go to these people's profiles, completely different demos, because it didn't care about her account. It just cared about the content in the video. And then what's everybody said, Ash said it, the targeting is your creative. So there's all these signals that you can do to target different audiences with organic TikTok. Number one, I was told this today, when you put captions on it, so captions in like the TikTok font on it, if you do it in the TikTok editor, that can be crawled by the algorithm, and that's actually a signal. If you edit that in Adobe, they have no idea.
That is interesting. So they're still burned in, but somehow the TikTok editor knows or is doing some metadata. That's interesting. That's a pro tip right there.
Hashtags.
Well, question about that. If you repost, if say you created something, you downloaded it, and then re-uploaded it, will that still happen?
Ooh. I don't know. I didn't ask that. That's a great question. But so again, all these principles that we talk about with Facebook ads, we're talking about with TikTok ads, they're the same principles that are important for organic TikTok. So with that being said, everybody talks about make TikToks, not ads, but I still think most people make ads. I really think that the best TikToks are, again, content, not just pushing product, but I also think the best TikTok ads are not straight up ads. It's not, hey, do you struggle with this? And again, you can do it, but we've had more success with the other stuff. So instead of, do you struggle with this? Here's this thing. There's no value given in that. Yes, you're have a good hook and you're selling something and you're putting your value props, but that's still an ad. I want to do stuff where it really doesn't even look like an ad. It looks like it's just a TikTok, because again, if I'm doing a newspaper ad, I'm not going to have my graphic designer do something. I'm going to write up an advertorial. And I used to do a bunch of newspaper ads for my local business. And I'm going to write up an advertorial with the exact same font that the newspaper uses, because that's going to hook people in better. It's going to stand out by kind of fitting in a little bit, So my strategy, especially if you have any organic TikTok reach, is put your stuff up organically and then see what angles are hitting. That's kind of like the Petri dish that Rabah was talking about. And then from there, I'll take that angle that's hitting. Let's say it's how to find your Miracle Bomb shade. That's one we did. And then I'll edit that up with 3 different hooks. But I won't put all those on my page. I'll dark post them. And then I'll run those as sparks from our page.
That's brilliant, man. So let me say it back to you just so I understand it. If you take a successful Facebook ad and a successful Facebook post, and you take a successful TikTok and a successful TikTok ad, the variance between the Facebook ad and the Facebook post will be quite large, whereas the variance between the TikTok success ad and the TikTok organic successful, or the organic post that's successful and the organic ad that's successful, the variance is going to be very little, if any.
100%. Yeah.
I
don't want to
really
say. I don't want to say if anything.
No, you're not giving absolutes, but yeah. I'm just saying that was the thesis, right? When you said that to me, that's
yes. Yeah.
You're on fire, Cody. The stoplight, the TikTok variance, the
COVID
get
brain,
Rona
man.
again. It's the COVID brain. Just keep getting Rona every week. We can work with this.
Yeah, and so why? And I think why is because you always have to consider, why is somebody on that platform? What are they there for? And a lot of people have talked about this, but I'll just say again, TikTok is not a social platform. TikTok is an entertainment platform, right? So you have to be giving people. And another thing that the rep said was that they're really trying to crack down on a lot of the dancing stuff because they know the most valuable users, right, to advertisers and to them are the 40, 50 plus, not the people that want to dance stuff. So educational content is being favored in the algorithm.
Just gonna say that. I think
motivational
it's actually
stuff. Have you seen that? Like less of the dancing?
Yes, well, because when I first got on there, dude, it was basically like thirst traps. And I'm just like, man, come on, I'm 36, I don't need this anymore. But to be fair, dude, I found out about a Section 179 deduction on there, which is like this really obscure tax deduction where you can buy a fancy, heavy car. That's why rich people drive Range Rovers and G-Wagons and stuff. You get this essentially $25,000 a year tax, or not a year, in that tax year deduction if you buy a car over X amount of weight. I found about that on TikTok. And so not to kind of steal your rant, but what I've found fascinating is where TikTok is really interesting to me is now it's not only an entertainment platform, but it's starting to merge entertainment with education. And
100%.
that confluence is really, really valuable. Where if you can
100%.
entertain people and I'm giving you value that you can
What do
then
they call
make
it?
your life better.
Infotainment?
Ish, yeah.
Sometimes?
Ish, yeah, something like that. But I mean, ultimately, that gets really interesting where I've seen some people go through some more nuanced subjects on there where I'm like, that was really well. You get some green screen in, you get some, I mean, it's really interesting. And you're also seeing a lot of YouTubers start to port over that are they've cracked kind of the YouTube algorithm, and now they're starting to understand that infotainment model is having a ton of success on TikTok. And I think that to me is the most fascinating, where it gets really interesting, where you can just, because the algorithm's sensational. I mean, I have to really like moderate myself because I have an addictive personality, and I'll just fall in and then 2 hours later not know what happened. And so I think you're so onto something there, Cody. I think that's absolutely the path that it's going, and I think it's going to be ultimately especially too, because you know what can happen? They can just start extending the video times, and
dude,
we
just got whitelisted for 10-minute videos. You can do
Twitter, did the same thing.
They're literally trying to compete with YouTube for that.
That's it.
Wow.
And now you're starting to get like not only your younger demos, but also these older demos that, to your point, they're starting to scrub the content of kind of the more egregious, offensive, if you will. I'm putting in quotes, air quotes, but offensive content that you feel a little awkward watching. And now you're getting served up just incredible stuff that is basically America's Funniest Home Videos matched with Encyclopedia Britannica. I mean, it's really, really...
How do you think those 10-minute videos are going to do? Because like on Instagram, IGTV completely flopped.
Yeah, it could flop. It could flop, but if they're going to do what Facebook does, which is kind of reward, give you, what did you call it? I think you talked about it last week, but essentially giving you like crazy reach behind that stuff so that they can kind of compete and get some market share. It makes sense for us as advertisers to kind of, or just brands to do a little bit of that,
Well,
I think they also have to train. Sorry, Robert, but like I think they have to also train the user to like appreciate that type of content, because like for me, before it was like 10, 15 seconds, right? So I'm just like I'm consuming a ton of content in like an hour. But now it's like 3 minutes, so it's like I'm consuming a little bit less than 1 hour. But now it's like 10 minutes. I don't know if I'm gonna have the attention span for that, because you trained me to think 15 seconds is all I need.
So here's what they said, right? I know, Rabah, I know you want to say something, but let me say this real quick. So they found, right, they had 3 different lengths of videos. They had like 9-second videos that crushed it. They had 30-second videos that actually did not do well, and then they had like 45+ second videos. And what they found was people, they thought people had short attention spans, so we got to reward short videos. People were actually watching longer videos, right? And again, you've heard it a bunch. People don't have short attention spans. They have short consideration spans. So you have to hook them in. But if your content is really good, people will stay and watch. And that's why the average YouTube watch time is like, Robin, it's like 45 minutes or something, like the average YouTube session.
It's really long, and you'd be insane to see like some 2-3 hour lectures have like 75% completion rates. But again, it goes back to kind of your thesis, Cody, which I think is so brilliant. And again, the consideration time span, you're on fire this one. You're on fire.
I don't know who said that one. I didn't want to name drop again.
Gurus again.
Not original. It was not original.
But here's the thing. People start building like a presentation, like an infotainment. And so maybe that first 30 seconds to a minute is the hook. And then it's like, okay, cool. I'm going to show you how to save $25,000 a year if you buy a new Range Rover. And you're like, what? Oh, really? And then now I walk you through the tax structure in not only like an entertaining way, but you also actually have actionables. And so that 5 to 10 minutes just goes fast because it's segmented into a presentation style. But the only reason is because you won that consideration set at the beginning with the hook that you're talking about, Cody. So I don't know. I think I'm super bullish on the long-term videos. I think that, because if you think about it, I don't think the actual watch time. So say you might spend an hour. I don't think that hour is going to truncate. I think what's going to happen is you might watch less videos for longer because you're going to get more value from them. And then you're also going to see creators start to pop up. So now the consideration span isn't necessarily even on the hook. It's on Cody or Ash, where it's like, I know that person has always given me fire. So I'm going to just already buy into this. And even if it's 5 to 7, 9, 10 minutes, and then you can do some things as well where you can have, like the keep watching to make sure that people are into it and stuff like that. So there's ways you can moderate the user experience, to your point, Ash, of like, you're not just going to throw somebody into a 60-minute lecture, but I don't know. And then furthermore, now you're going to, I don't know. I think it's going to be incredible because now you're going to surface the best of the best. Like, tax advice is terrible, but there's some really good teachers that not only understand the tax code really well, but know how to make it a fun, like,
did you see the Excel girl? Hold on. Did you see the Excel girl that blew up? She makes millions. Dude. She makes millions money. Here, so anyone who doesn't know, there's this girl. I don't know if it's like I don't know her handle, but she essentially does Excel videos, and she does it in a really engaging way. And now she sells courses, she does webinars, but she makes millions a month just from TikTok on Excel, the most boring topic in the world.
Printing money. I met a gal at Geek Out. Shout out Nick Shackelford. I'll be there this weekend presenting as well.
Name drop.
I had to keep up with you. I had to keep up. No, I met this gal, and she was in, I can't remember the law. She was in some really boring law segment, and she actually ended up leaving her lawyer job because she literally does TikTok videos now, has millions of followers talking about like this obscure sect of the law and how it applies to you and X, Y, and Z. And I don't know. I'm so bullish on it. I think that YouTube would be very worried. I mean, that's why they're trying to get into YouTube Reels and stuff like that, trying the inverse, right? They already have the long form, and now can they?
Everyone's trying to beat each other at this point, right?
Ash, don't you guys have a podcast?
We do, yeah. We do.
So what you should do for your organic, man, but what you should do for your organic is, if you record video, which you should be, again, taking those clips like Gary Vee style, throwing the comments on them, like that is going crazy with the algorithm right now. Like that would be one. The way I like to think about organic is like, it's like you have a TV station, and this is like for like a Russell Brunson thing, but you have like a TV station and then you have different series on that, and you should have like recurring things. You might have some comedy things, right? You might have some educational stuff, some drama, right? Some stories, but you should have like recurring segments. So then, like Rabah said, like, so then let's say you have those 2 girls on the podcast or 2 girls doing recipes over and over. Like people then see that and they're like, oh, let me watch this. Like those are people I know. Their content's always good, Yeah. But the podcast could be a good one.
That's actually one of the things that we're going to start for T-Dubs. That's the big TikTok strategist play, was like building series around certain things and then making those series into like digestible chunks and then giving people a reason to come back and back and back has been super successful for him. So I mean, I couldn't vibe with you guys more. I mean, I think that's super big brain stuff. All right, boys, we're pushing up against it. You want to call it? What else do you guys want to talk about? Let's call it. There's been so many good drops. Ash, you didn't even know I didn't know there was an Avi podcast. How do people find the my Avi podcast? Who's on it? Give us some color there. What's up?
Yeah, so the girl started. It's called Don't Overspill. It's with our 2 girls, Madison and Haley, and they literally just talk about a bunch of shit, and it's hilarious. It's on YouTube, it's on Spotify, Apple Music, but I mean, the idea behind it is that we have our Facebook community, right? Almost 50,000 members now.
Yeah.
Just having more content for our community to engage with is just, we want to just keep them in the ecosystem, right? So like, like Cody was saying, is that, just putting out this valuable content that you can consume on a daily, weekly, monthly basis keeps you in this ecosystem, right? Now, whether or not they're pushing product or not, it's still like, Don't Overspill podcast brought to you by Avi. So it's still always top of mind. So, I mean, it all goes back to, building community and making sure that, you're constantly top of mind, and you're constantly offering value where you can, which is outside of just like, hey, you get 20% off collagen protein, right? So like, which is why we're like pumping out more recipes, because like we did a poll in the group the other day. It's like, well, I want more ways to try, the protein. I want more ways to try this, So it's like, all right, well, we'll do, a recipe every week. We'll have the podcast so you can just sit back, relax. It's literally just, it's like watching two girls just bicker and fight and laugh together, and it's hilarious. So just stuff to keep the community entertained and want to still be a part of like Avi and make Avi more of their lifestyle, more than what it is already. So that was the
All right,
that was the thought
I'll say
process
one
behind
parting thing. One more name drop. I truly think that like that's amazing. And I truly think that if you're not like, let's say 2022 and beyond, like creating content like parallel to what your brand does. So again, like linear commerce, creating content to build community, to build an audience that is not pushing product. Like if you're not doing that going forward, you're not going to make it.
Yeah. Can I give you two examples to build both of your theses even stronger?
Totally.
So the UFC president, I'm big into MMA, UFC in specific, and the UFC president is Dana White. And Dana White does something called Fuck It Fridays, where he has his personal chefs make him the weirdest kind of food, and he tries them and rates it. It's the top rated piece of social media he puts out every week. And this is bigger than his fight announcements. This is bigger than everything. And this has nothing, 0% to do with UFC and fighting. Another one, F1. F1 was a dying sport.
Yeah.
Drive to Survive has absolutely exploded. Not only the market, again, in Europe, it wasn't so much dying, but they could never break into the States. I actually watched an F1 race this weekend. I mean, the Drive to Survive has done so many things, and they're not selling anything. Even more so, you guys are going to love this. Netflix pays F1 to make it. So F1 isn't even spending any money on their best commercial platform or their best ad in a way. I mean, that's big brain moves there. 100%. So, all right, boys, let's wrap it up. Or do you have one more thing, Cody?
No, I was going to say what you want about Barstool, but I think they're like the ultimate linear commerce company. I saw they just opened a bar. Like they're going to come out with so many different product offerings just because they have such an engaged community. Like they sell obviously tons of merch. They sell drinks. They sell all these drinks.
They started selling the pizza, right? One Bite Pizza.
Yeah, the One
Bite app. Yeah, exactly.
Like they're huge and people have no idea. And again, that there's no paid. Like they're not spending on paid. So if you want to diversify off paid, this is how you have to do it.
That's my actually mental model for Triple Whale's content empire is Barstool Sports. It's incredible, empowering people with that. Cody, you just and don't shit on him for selling courses, people. This is great stuff. You just got on Mentor Pass, right?
Yeah, I did.
Can the people let the people know how they can connect with you, get some of your time, and get access to that big brain?
Oh man, now they're totally gonna call me a guru.
No, it's good stuff. Value for value. Dude, you're one of the most brilliant guys. And the way that you've skilled up in such a fast time is just really, I mean, you're a PT. Like what, 3 years ago or something. Yeah. Now you're like in the elite marketer category. Don't let the haters hate.
All right. I appreciate it. Yeah, so I just got on Mentor Pass. If you guys don't know it, it's this amazing platform. It's like a marketplace that connects people that want, coaching and consulting with mentors and experts in their space. So, I think Nick Sharma's a top mentor on there. Amanda Goetz is on there. There's a lot of really, really brilliant people on there. I don't know why they want me. It must have to hit some quota. But if you want to get some time on my calendar, that's the best way to do it. Just to get some reviews and some social proof going there, I have dropped the rate in half. So I have already gotten a bunch of people booked in there, but we'll do a little bit more this month and next month. So if you want to get on there, just check it out on Mentor Pass.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Man,
that's awesome, man. Congrats.
It's fantastic. Yeah, it's amazing. All right, folks, that's it. That is, I think, number 5 in the books. Is that right, boys? 5? Oh, man. 5 for our Spanish speakers out there. Much love to everybody. Again, if you want to get more involved with the Triple Whale, it's trytriplewhale.com. We're on the Bird app at Triple Whale. And then we have a phenomenal newsletter that goes out every Tuesday, Thursday called Whale Mail. Cody's actually been in a few of them. We need to get Ash. We need to get any of those essays, baby. Toss them over. We'll get that promos going. But we really appreciate all the support. It really felt good. I felt really bad. I'm a huge believer in the behavior loop. And obviously health comes first. And so we kind of tried to push Cody a little bit, but he showed me the Aura screenshots, and you can't argue with data. There's opinions, but you can't argue with the data. So we really felt really blessed when we saw all the tweets about how people were kind of a little bit ruffled to say that their ad spend hadn't come out yet. So we'll try and keep it on a weekly schedule for you guys, barring any kind of health or major scheduling conflicts. But again, thanks so much for all the support, Cody, Ash. You guys are amazing. Ash, what's your Twitter handle?
Twitter.com/AshvinMelwani.
Beautiful. Cody?
Cody Plof.
Beautiful. All right, boys. Thanks again. That's number 5 in the books, and we'll see you guys next week.